edit this. And let me think. Okay, take one now. Hi, it's Kara. I'm in Tijuana at the Immunotherapy Institute with Dr. Alfonso Martinez. He's been my main treating doctor. And so before I leave, which tomorrow's my last day, I'm going to miss it here. I just wanted to take some time to interview him and ask him all the questions I haven't asked yet. All of them. So you talk. Instead of me just asking you questions, tell me what would you like people to know about here?
Okay.
Or why are you here? What brought you here? What's your big why?
I thought it was going to be an interview.
It is. This is a different kind of interview. This is a Kara interview.
Not take one, you say. We need to edit this. Okay. So first of all, I'm a functional medicine practitioner. I graduated med school here in Mexico, and I'm certified on functional medicine by the IFM.
What's the IFM? International Functional Medicine, something like that.
Something like that.
Something like that.
I forgot. I need to check that out. It's not a good time. It's been a long day. The Institute for Functional Medicine.
Institute for Functional Medicine.
There's so much institutes and international and so many I's. But it's the Institute for Functional Medicine. I'm a certified practitioner by the Institute for Functional Medicine. What we try to do here, what we try to achieve with our patients is a personalized treatment program that it's able to encompass, to cover all the different needs that a patient has. Cancer is a very complex disease. It doesn't have a simple answer of how to treat it, how to assess it, how to address it. There's a number of variables that come into place, and we need to make sure that we cover all those variables. Traditional medicine, the conventional approach, trains you to treat a disease. They put a name to a disease, and you are trained to treat it with medication, with surgery, or other form of intervention. What we try to do here is to treat the patient, to cover what happened on Kara's body, that she developed these cancerous cells that then form a tumor and then create the disease, the breast cancer. There's a number of things that come into play. The most important that I can talk right now is lifestyle, especially in hair case. There are other cases, other types of cancer, where there are other variables that will come into play. But in her case, it's just a lifestyle intervention that needs to take place because her life choices were responsible to a large degree.
Do you mean like, say, internalizing stress, things like that?
That's a very important part, but it's more than that. It's what's been going on, what you've been putting on your body since you were a little kid. Just before you were born, now we're learning that everything that your mother did before she got pregnant, while she was pregnant, and while she was breastfeeding you, if she was breastfeeding you, impacts the body's immune system and the body's ability to interact with a disease. So all of that comes into play. That's why I mean lifestyle. Yes, stress is very important. In emotional stress, life-related stress, but also the stress that the SAT diet puts on us, standard American diet, which is not, it's by far what we will call an optimal diet. The environment where we are growing is not healthy. It's not what our bodies are being designed, were designed for. We are not indoor creatures. We are not designed to be glaring at a screen for hours and hours. All of those things come into play. It is not a coincidence that you see an increase in this type of disease because their lifestyle diseases that are. So that's on broad terms what we are trying to do here. What functional medicine is.
Can you talk more about the lifestyle factors that are an impact?
Okay.
Because that's something that most people at least can put into practice and change.
Um, you need to be responsible for what goes into your body. Uh, there's very poor nutritional advice out there of what a healthy diet is. Uh, the American Diabetes Association, the American Heart Association, their nutritional plans are not ideal, are not what we recommend. And that poor information, that misinformation, is putting people in harm's way. Um, if you look, when I was starting med school, there was a chart, a nutritional chart, a plate,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll see. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm older than that. It was a pyramid. That's my point. It was a nutritional pyramid, and at the bottom were grains.
Mm-hmm.
Breads were at the bottom, meaning that that should be your main source of intake,
I remember
your
that.
diet. Then a few years ago, like 10 years ago, it became a plate
Mm-hmm.
where still grains were a very important, more than 50% of the plate are, that's the one that we use now, that they are
Mm-hmm.
using now, are grains. And this, uh, if you follow these guidelines, you're going to put your body on a road for chronic inflammation because grains and their derivatives, processed foods, they create a pro-inflammatory state in your body that in the long term, maybe some people it's going to be 5 years, some people it's going to be 10 years, some people it's going to be 25 years. It's going to end up costing you your health. Uh, right now, you see a lot of people in their 30s with metabolic disease. What does that mean? Well, that their body are starting to lose the ability to control the glycemic spikes that they do through their diet. These people, 10 to 15 years from the age that they are diagnosed, they are going to have full-on heart disease, diabetes, or cancer. The vast majority of them, they're going to end up in on this spectrum. There's going to be the exceptions. There's always is.
Mm-hmm.
You always have that uncle that smoked until he was 80,
Never
90, and he drank, he didn't watch his diet. Some people get good looks on the genetic lottery. Some people get good genes that are able to metabolize all of these uh, things that we put into your body.
Mm-hmm.
That may be the most important one because we do it every day. We do it constantly.
So, what about? I mean, you have lots of say 20-somethings who, of course, when you're young, you think you're never gonna have a problem, but say the normal early 20-something that is eating fast food, eating fried food, eating candy, drinking energy drinks, and I've noticed you even now. I mean, they say the incidence of cancer is like going up exponentially every year, and more and more people are having a less and less healthy lifestyle.
It started when we were little, when we were kids. The foods our mother gave us. There's a lot of misguiding, misleading information on the labels of
Mm-hmm.
products. Fat-free was considered healthy for a long period of time. Cholesterol was thought of the big killer of a generation of my parents. And right now we know that that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, cholesterol can be cardioprotective, helps hormone balance. Of course, it needs to be the cholesterol, the good kind, and all the lipids in your body need to be in harmony, like everything else. Um, you'll get your again cereals at the top of the pyramid, and I was fed a lot of cereal when I was little, and then they'll change the grains to whole wheat, whole grains, under the impression that taking whole grains is healthy. That's not true. There's a little increase on the fiber, but it's not. But the sugar spike, the glycemic load is still in there. So you see a lot of people eating bread, whole wheat bread, thinking that, oh, I'm healthy, I'm eating healthy. That's not the reality, and that's just a misinformation. Just uh, to some extent, there's malignancy. They do this with the knowing that they can cause harm, and they don't care.
Well, and they also, I know the wheat, they spray it with the Roundup.
I'm just talking right now about the impact of the sugar and chronic inflammation in your diet.
Not the chemicals that are also added in there.
That's the environment where we are growing now. The farming has become an industry. The food industry is like a factory that produces food. It's a factory that produces food. We are not eating the same things that our parents and grandparents were eating. Right now, a cup of broccoli has less nutrients than a cup of broccoli had 30 to 40 years ago. This monocropping practice doesn't let the soil replenish their minerals. Also, we don't eat enough variety of meals. This has a lot of reasons why. We can go on and on here for hours about the socioeconomic problems that cause women to go to work and they're not at home raising for their children. And I'm not speaking from a male dominant point where women stay at home and raise their children. No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is that the feeding and raising of the children has been misplaced by necessity. I'm not talking about a talented woman that's pursuing a life career at work. I'm talking about the women that need to work just to eat, to provide to their families, that they're just doing whatever they can do to provide for their kids. And this low-income family, they don't have access to this information. And eating junk food is very cheap. Just go to the supermarket and you can have, I don't know, I saw a Jack in the Box commercial a few days ago, like 15 mini tacos for $3. What are you eating for $3? It's hard, but that's the reality.
What any questions that you can think of? So I know for instance, like Louise is getting treated for diabetes, and you had mentioned, the diabetes and high cholesterol and cancer, and they're all caused by what we're putting into our body or what we're not putting into our body that we should. What type of a diet, like you were talking about the old pyramid and the plate,
it has to be a personalized diet.
Right.
It has to be based on the individual's need. Here we are fortunate enough to work with people from all over the world. So we need to be aware of the patient's cultural background, what they like to eat, what they don't like to eat. Because if you implement a very drastic change, it's very unlikely that they're not going to be able to follow. You need to guide them. You need to go little by little. There's a personality that the type of personality who they go, yes, let's do it. I'll change it all the way. But in reality, you need to change it gradually. Do it step by step. First, start the simplest thing that you can do if you're listening to this and you're healthy or you think you're healthy, just eliminate processed food as much as possible. If it doesn't grow on a tree or if you don't get it out of fresh produce, call it meat, fish, or poultry, then don't take it. If it comes in a can, if it comes in a box, just avoid it for a little while. And most people will start feeling better just eating fruits, vegetables, and some
So
form
no
of animal
cans,
protein.
no boxes.
That's like just a basic recommendation for someone to take from this video.
No, not from Taco Bell or Jack in the Box
No.
either.
There's an old saying that if you don't recognize what's in the ingredients list, don't take it. If,
Oh, yes.
if what's in the ingredient list doesn't grow on a tree or on a farm, don't take it.
I know somewhere one of my books I read and it said if you can't pronounce what's in it, you shouldn't eat it.
Yeah, that's a good. That's a good line.
So what type? Let's see. So is there a particular diet? Like I have friends that are on keto, or friends that have gone vegetarian, or you name the diet.
It's complex. It's a little bit complex. It needs to be on a person by person. There's not an universal diet for everyone. You'll see it a lot right now. There's a lot of some people are following what they call a carnivore diet, which is going to be very interesting in a few years how these people react. There's an elimination diet. There's the keto diet that you mentioned. There's Mediterranean diet. So at the end of the day, you need to listen. You need to know your body first and talk to your physician, talk to your nutritionist, so they can together make the best decision of what's best for you. Because what's best for Cara is not necessarily what's best for Luis. What's best for Alfonso is not necessarily what's best for either of them. It has to be depend on your age, on your level of physical activity, if you have a current disease or not, etc., etc.
Is it that I like that. That was the big thing. The individual. I'm not a cookie cutter person. And that does make me think of one more thing. So I mentioned that I had put on a few of the Facebook groups that are for natural cures for cancer, or people that are looking to naturally heal from cancer. And one of the things I've noticed is that everybody, I mean, you could take 50 people that are in the group, and each one has had experience. Say one tried CBD oil, one might have tried frankincense, one did a keto diet, one did a different diet, one did person therapy, and everybody has their one thing, and they're like, you need to do this, you need to do this, and it's always their one thing. But here, you do several different things together, and because I'm going to share this in there, I'm just curious, like you said, it's individual. So when you look at me, you're like, okay, of all of our things that we have, here's what Kara needs.
Correct.
And you base that on some of the blood work, and then I don't know what else. But
previous experience. I mean, we are not inventing the wheel here. We are our treatments are fundamented on science, on protocols. When you mention natural cures for cancer, well, we will be unemployed if there was a natural cure for cancer. That's sadly that's true. That's the truth. I'm not part of I'm not getting any money from the government to hire the cure or something like that. It's very complex. It touches a lot of us. That's the other thing that's very important. As people are different, cancer cells are different. The same histopathological type of cancer is going to behave different different women is not gonna be the same. So be aware of the one size fits all protocol. Be aware of diets that eliminate macronutrients because then you will be with cancer and malnourished. And that's very difficult. When we get a lot of patients here that are malnourished because they follow X or Y diet. So, and it creates more a more difficult environment to create uh, to have a successful patient because we need to work with all these complications that have arisen because of poor medical decision making.
So first you have to get them back to proper nutrition,
Correct.
build them back up, and then try to treat the cancer.
At the end of the day, I'm a conventional doctor, if you want to call me that way. But that doesn't mean that my train of thought is married or is on a one-way track. We need to learn to take what we need from the different fields, from the different branches, from people that have been doing this for longer than I've been alive. So that's where you create the ideal plan. Okay, no, no. I have a lot of doubts when people tell me that they know someone that cured themselves from cancer with X substance. Because if it was that easy, then the world that we live in will be dramatically different. Okay, we should be able to duplicate the results. Unfortunately, that's not the case with this type of miracle cures or this type of diets or protocols. Okay. No, some types of cancer are very aggressive, very, very aggressive, and the approach has to be different. There's very little that you can offer a patient that has an aggressive cancer on the natural way, if you want to call it. The more aggressive the enemy, sometimes it's the more aggressive that you have to be. At the end of the day, what we do here is that the cure is not worse than the disease. Yes, an aggressive tumor requires a more aggressive approach, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to cause more damage than the disease has already caused, because then there's no point of doing that. That's what our goal, what our guide, what we need, what we try to follow. In this type of approach, the patient is the pilot. He is the owner of the body. He makes every decision. My job as a physician is to present them all the information that I have and try to answer their questions as best as possible. A lot of times I say I don't know. That's my honest answer. I don't know. And once I present that information, the patient is going to make a decision of which way he or she wants to follow. I use the image of doors. There's door one, door B, door two, door three. Which door you want to go through? Whatever door you choose, we'll walk together through that door, and we'll see what's on the other side of the door, and we'll face it together.
And that was one of the things before I got to come, and I was questioning because the doctor told me to take tamoxifen, and I felt like they were just pushing me to have surgery, radiation, take tamoxifen for 10 years, and it just didn't suit me, especially when they already told me that my tumor was like 1.6 centimeters, and I was like, I just cannot bring myself to. I just didn't want to have surgery, but it's also not an aggressive cancer in my case, so I felt like I had time. But somebody else might have an aggressive cancer that maybe surgery would be the right option.
That is correct.
which makes sense. I mean, I would
Which
like.
brings us to the point. It's an individualized
Mhm.
program. I'm not going to treat all the women with breast cancer the same. You can. But you were here, you met two ladies with breast cancer.
I know one, yes, and I'm not
Well,
sure
at
on the
least
other.
one, there was
At least one,
another lady,
yes.
but you were here. It's completely different scenario.
Yes.
Completely,
Much younger,
completely different.
but much worse.
It's a different case,
Mhm.
even though we're talking about breast cancer. I'm not the only doctor here. There's an oncologist on staff. There's a nutritionist on staff. There's a psychologist. There's a lot of people involved in this process. We make the decisions as a team. Uh, I'm here responsible for the patients during their stay, but there's brainstorming that goes behind doors. That where all of this decision takes place to establish what's the best course of action for our patients.
And I'm gonna upload this tonight to Facebook. And so I'm still over here and that's the picture. But if you have any questions, I have one more day to pester him with questions tomorrow, unless he hides, which he can't. So we'll track him down. But if you have any questions that we didn't cover, then message me, comment under the video or something, and we will get those questions asked because he knows I'm always asking questions. So, but thank you for taking the time to sit here and do this. And we will, like I said, if you have questions, put them under the comment on Facebook under the video, and I will ask them tomorrow. All right.